Yo, what's going on, guys? And today we're doing my off-season recap for the Golden State Warriors. And as you guys see on the screen, we'll talk about the key additions, which were Chris Paul via trade for Jordan Poole. Draymond Green was re-signed. Brandon Podezemski, Pod was drafted at 19th. They brought in Corey Joseph and Dario Saric, which I thought were both great pickups. Dario Saric is going to be a better version of Nemanja Bjelica. Okay, just look what he was doing for the Thunder. They lost Jordan Poole, Dante DiVincenzo, Patrick Baldwin Jr., Ty Jerome, JaMychal Green, Ryan Rollins, and it seems like Andre Iguodala has, going into retirement. So a lot of people believe that Jordan Poole was the issue, that he kind of staggered and created, people. The thing is this offseason is going to prove, is Jordan Poole the problem, and are they going to go back to their winning ways? So for me, when I look at this situation, I think it's definitely interesting to see how it all ends up, because I think Chris Paul, he doesn't want to come off the bench. So we're either going to see a lineup that's going to look like Chris Paul, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, and Draymond Green, with Kevon Looney and, the rest of the guys off the bench. And that could be possible. Or, obviously what we all would like is Kevon Looney, Draymond Green, Andrew Wiggins, Klay Thompson, and Steph Curry, with Chris Paul, Gary Payton, and the rest of the boys off the bench. And that's the big thing. So right here, the current roster: Andrew Wiggins, Klay Thompson, Dario Saric, Lester Quinones, Brandon Podezemski, Gary Payton II, Chris Paul, Moses Moody, Kevon Looney, Jonathan Kuminga, Corey Joseph, Trace Jackson Davis, Draymond Green, and my man Steph Curry. And from what I can see, what I just wanted to make sure was if they had any guys on. Right now, from what I see, the only guy that is Lester Quinones. We don't know Guy Santos if he's going to return. We know Anthony Lamb is not returning. And I wonder if Guy Santos will get a two-way. They still have two-way spots, and they technically, on their roster, they only have 13 guys, and they're only going to sign one more player because they would like to keep the 15th roster spot open. So with that being said, I think obviously, my opinion, starting lineup is probably going to be Chris Paul, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, and Draymond Green, with the bench being Kevon Looney, Dario Saric, Gary Payton II, Jonathan Kuminga, Corey Joseph, Moses Moody, Brandon Podezemski, and then Trace Jackson Davis. Okay. Again, they do have Corey Joseph that they could bring over, not Corey Joseph, Guy Santos that they can finally, bring back and mesh into their lineup, which I think is definitely going to be interesting, as they've really, for me, I'm intrigued to see if they've done what they're going to do. Because for me, this is a team, when I look at the current roster construction, I think they're set at the guard. Their backcourt is awesome. Steph Curry, Chris Paul, Corey Joseph, Lester Quinones, Gary Payton II, Brandon Podezemski. They're loaded in the backcourt for the first time in a while, okay? And then the front court, it ain't bad. Kevon Looney, Draymond Green, Dario Saric, Trace Jackson Davis. Okay, and we probably are going to see a little bit of Andrew Wiggins playing the stretch 4 this year, just unless they sign a guy obviously a guy I think they should look at Neemias Queta for a two-way. Okay, I think that would be a guy that would definitely interest them, or maybe Alize Johnson, another big, I think would be throw him on a two-way, or get a veteran guy who's established, like a Gorgie Dang. Okay, I think as a reserve big would really be cool for your 14th roster spot. And then I'm not worried about they don't need they're not Dario Saric is going to be the backup for both Green and Kevon Looney, and then Jonathan Kuminga can be power forward, small forward. So I'm not worried right there. And then their wing, they got Klay Thompson, Andrew Wiggins, Moses Moody, Kuminga. Even Podezemski and Lester Quinones all can play there. And especially if they bring Guy Santos, they have, I think they're loaded on multiple positions. And I think this team is clearly better than last year's team on the whole. So that's where I want to hear your guys' thoughts down below. What are your thoughts right here with this team? Are you guys on the same page as me, or am I being a little overzealous? I really do think, this is a deal that, not a deal, but a team that definitely looks better, feels better. And if you're a Warriors fan, I think you should be excited about that, as it has definitely been a bit. I think some people are torn. I think this is a good offseason, and they're a better team. Even if you don't think it was great, I think what they were able to do was they loaded up on some more veterans, okay? Like, just on the whole, this is a team that brought in, okay, Dario Saric, a guy who's been around the block. Corey Joseph, guy who, did Corey end up winning with the Spurs? Was he with the Spurs when they won in 2014? I think this is a guy who's an NBA champion, okay? And yes, he's an NBA champion. He's a guy who's played on several teams and has been one of the better backup guards in the league. So I think that's good. You got a guy who can play multiple positions in Podziemski, who's a really good rebounder. And you got Chris Paul, who's one of the best floor generals of his generation. So I think, and then you built up the depth where you still have, Moses Moody, Jonathan Kuminga in there, okay? And Trace Jackson Davis is an NBA ready guy. So I think they did good.